Now we must discuss phraseology, which is a very interesting and pleasant topic for discussion. Phraseology is a branch of lexicology specializing in word groups which are characterized by stability of structure and transferred meaning. Phraseological units, or idioms, as they are called by most Western scholars, represent what can probably be described as the most picturesque, colorful, and expressive part of the language's vocabulary. If synonyms can be figuratively referred to as the tints and colors of the vocabulary, then phraseology is a kind of picture gallery in which are collected vivid and amusing sketches of the nation's traditions and prejudices, recollections of its past history, scraps of folk songs, and fairy tales. And what a variety of odd and grotesque images, figures, and personalities one finds in this amazing picture gallery. Dark horses, white elephants, bulls in china shops, cats escaping from the bags, dogs barking up the wrong tree, and men wearing their hearts on their sleeves or having them in their mouths or even in their boots. Sometimes this parade of funny animals and quaint people looks more like a hilarious fancy dress ball than a peaceful picture gallery, and it is really pity that the only interest some scholars seem to take in it is whether the leading component of the idiom is expressed by a verb or by a noun. The metaphor fancy dress ball may seem far-fetched to skeptical minds, and yet it aptly reflects a very important feature of the linguistic phenomena under discussion. Most participants of carnival, if we accept the metaphor, wear masks, are disguised as something or somebody else. Word groups known as phraseological units or idioms are characterized by a double sense. The current meanings of constituent words build up a certain picture, but the actual meaning of the whole unit has little or nothing to do with that picture, in itself creating an entirely new image. So a dark horse mentioned about is actually not a horse, but a person about whom no one knows anything definite. And so one is not sure what can be expected from him. The imagery of a bull in a china shop lies very much on the surface. The idiom describes a clumsy person. A white elephant, however, is not even a person, but a valuable object, which involves great expense or trouble for its owner. The green-eyed monster is jealousy, the image drawn from Othello. To let the cat out of the bag has actually nothing to do with cats, but means simply to let some secret become known. In to bark up the wrong tree, the current meanings of the constituents create a vivid picture of a foolish dog sitting under a tree and barking at it. But the actual meaning of the idiom is to follow a false scent, to look for somebody or something in a wrong place, to expect from somebody what is unlikely to do. The idiom is frequently used in detective stories. The police are barking up the wrong tree as usual. In other words, they suspect somebody who has nothing to do with the crime. The ambiguousness of these interesting word groups may lead to an amusing misunderstanding, especially for children who are apt to accept words at their face value. For example, let us deal with the following joke. Little John is crying, "Mommy, Mommy, my Auntie Jane is dead." And mother says, "Nonsense, child. She phoned me exactly 5 minutes ago." And Johnny says, "But I heard Mrs. White said her neighbors cut her dead." So, to cut somebody dead means to rudely ignore somebody, to pretend not to know or recognize him. Puns are frequently based on ambiguousness of idioms. Now let us deal with the following example. "Isn't our Kitty a marvel? I wish you could have seen her at the party yesterday. If I'd collected all the bricks she dropped all over the place, I could build a villa." So to drop a brick means to say unintentionally a quite indiscreet or tactless thing that shocks and offends people. So, together with synonymy and antonymy, phraseology represents expressive resources of the vocabulary. Collins, in his book of English idiom, writes, "In standard spoken and written English, today idiom is an established and essential element that, used with care, ornaments and enriches the language." So use with care is an important warning, because speech overloaded with idioms loses its freshness and originality. Idioms, after all, are ready-made speech units, and their continual repetition sometimes wears them out. They lose their colors and become trite cliches. Such idioms can hardly be said to ornament or enrich the language.